Hey guys, this is a Toxic Rain guide aimed at new players who've recently hit maps and now they're looking to buy some cheap gear that can effectively progress them into the endgame. It's going to be a sister video to the deep dive I put out last week going over all the possible min-maxing you can do to your gear once you're fully kitted out. I want to make note that Lighty and Zizarin made a really good POB for how to league start, and they do have good notes in it on how to progress your gear. However, I'm still going to record this video as it was a viewer request, and I believe I'm gonna say a few different things probably as well. So to start off, you're gonna buy a bow from this link, and I'm gonna include a paste bin with this document in the description as well for you to find this link. The link takes you to an 8 chaos 6 link bow. I have one right here. I bought it through the link. We are going to chromatic orbit to 5 green, 1 blue. We're going to use a Shrieking Essence of Dread, which costs 2 chaos, and then we're going to benchcraft a little bit more damage onto it. So let's start off with the chromatic orbs. This won't be too hard to hit, but there we go, we got it. Your best bet is just to keep hitting chromatics till you get it. Now the reason we use Shrieking Essence of Dread is because it guarantees +2 to level of socketed bow gems, which sort of acts like an empower. Sort of, it's not as good, but there we go. So here we lucked out and we got +1 to level of socketed gems and +2 to level of socketed bow gems. You might not get that. If you have a bunch of currency, you can buy a few of these and hit until you get this, but don't feel like you have to. This bow is actually pretty good. It also needs to have an open suffix. If you don't have an open suffix, you need to hit again. In the suffixes, you can choose, you can either craft attack speed, don't do the 1 exalt one, do the one for 6 alterations. It's 8 to 10, or you can do chaos damage over time multiplier. That's 4 chaos, we're going to go with that. There you go. Now let's see what Awakened PoE trade says this is worth. It says it's worth 123 to 180. I don't know if that's true, but actually here. Why won't this stay open? I don't know what's happening with it. Oh well. So that is the bow. Now the links are Efficacy, Toxic Rain, Mirage Archer, Void Manipulation, Vicious Projectiles, Faster Attacks. We are not using an Empower. Do not worry about an Empower. You will get an Empower much later on. Like, just forget about Empower. I know it's in the build guides. This is better for now. Body Armor. This link takes you to a body armor that costs about 15 chaos. It's an armor evasion base, and it either has an open prefix or it has life on it. And if it has an open prefix instead of life, you just benchcraft life on it. The important thing about this chest is it has frenzy charge on hit. This is a very big damage boost, and that's why we are going with this body armor. Now you're going to have to 6 socket yourself with jewelers. Make sure you quality it to 20 before you slam your jewelers on it. And you're going to have to 5 link it yourself as well. It does not need to be 6 linked. Just stop at 5. You're going to chromatic orbit to 3 green, 2 red, and this is going to be very easy because armor evasion bases, they go towards green and red naturally. The links are Ballista Totem, Toxic Rain, Focus Ballista, Withering Touch, multiple totems, and it's going to be exactly like my chest. The only difference between mine, which is like really GG endgame, is that it has 30% chance to suppress spell damage. You cannot realistically get this. There's no way to craft this easily, so you're not even going to try and get that. That is like way later down the line. So you have your bow with +2 to level of socketed bow gems, chaos dot multi, and you have your chest with frenzy charge. It's a lot of damage. Next, you're going to look at the quiver. My quiver has damage over time multiplier with attack skills, chaos damage over time multiplier with attack skills, attack speed, and life. You're only going to look for one of those damage over time multipliers because you can craft attack speed on the bench. So try and find either damage over time multiplier or chaos damage over time multiplier with a little bit of life in an open suffix. And you craft attack speed on the bench. It costs 2 chaos orbs. That's a lot of damage right there. And it will be cheap because you're not going for 3 mods that are 3 damage mods. You're only looking for 1 damage mod. 1 damage mod quivers are cheap. Now, the next piece of gear is the gloves. Gloves need to have an open prefix because you have to craft on increased area of effect. That costs a divine orb. Now, mine has chaos damage over time multiplier as well as attack speed. They're both suffixes. Just look for one of them. You don't need 2 damage mods on your glove. Just get your gloves with 1 damage mod. They're going to be cheap. So maybe you get chaos damage over time multiplier. Maybe you get attack speed. It's going to be very cheap. There you go. That's a lot of damage. The final piece of gear that gives you damage is the Amulet. Now, there's 3 damage rolls you can look for. One is damage over time multiplier. One is +1 to level of all chaos skill gems. The third is +1 to level of all dexterity skill gems. So you're just going to search for one of those. It's going to be very, very, very cheap. There you go. That's a bunch of damage. Now, we haven't talked about the helmet, the rings, the boots, or the belt, and I'm not going to talk about those because you can just put whatever you want on those. You're going to need resistances, you're going to need life, just get whatever you can. There you go. Now you will have good starter gear and you can work towards getting the gear in the other sister video to this where I deep dive about how to get like your final set of gear. So start off with this, and then once you have all of this, once you have everything I talked about here, before you go to the other video, that is when you're going to want to craft this bow. This bow costs approximately 9, maybe 8 exalted orbs to craft. I do have a video showing how I crafted it. Like, I literally crafted this bow in the video. And this is going to be your first like expensive upgrade because everything I talked about here is going to be very cheap, and now this is going to be suddenly 9 exalts. So this will take a long time to farm towards, but this should be your first goal. And when you craft this bow, that is when you get Empower. You can take off faster attacks or you can take off Mirage Archer, but not until then. Do not worry about Empower. Alright, thanks for watching the video. If you're struggling to gear your Toxic Rain, I hope this video helps you out. Feel free to subscribe if you want more Toxic Rain content. I will see you guys in the next one.